Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I see so many people in the room so far, and that makes me really happy. I've been so excited to have this chat since last night, since I caught something and I asked you guys if maybe you caught it. There was a little clue in the episode, and from looking at the comments of my video, and I looked through Twitter replies and everything, and I saw that one person saw the clue. We're going to talk about it. If you're in the room, and I think you are, do not put it in the comments yet because I'm going to talk about it here in just a second. But first of all, I want to say hello to everyone who is here. Let's see who we have here. Allie, Roa, Eli, Marge, Ben, Luke, Vanessa, Juan Carlos, Rachel, Emilio, Ben, did I say hi to you? The How to Get Away with Murder fan. I don't know if you want me to call you by your name. Makara, Firkin, Giuliano, Anakin, Gabe, AEC. There's so many people here. That makes me so happy. Deja's here. I'm going to let some more people get into the room before I get into my... It's not really a new theory, but it's a clue that I think pretty much lets us know who the killer is. And you know, we've been watching this show for a while, and usually I've been able to figure out what's going to happen for every season finale because they do give us clues. There are always clues throughout the season, so it's not like we haven't gotten clues. So I think we're getting clues this season as well. Okay, so here's the thing that I saw one other person found, and we have a lot of other things to talk about. We only have 30 minutes because I have another chat after this. Okay, hi, Wendy. All right, so we know that Annalise asked Oliver to leak that story to the press, right? And at the time, if you watch my reaction video, when it turned out that someone ratted her out and to the like ADA's office, and they or who was it, like the district attorney or somebody that she was having investigate the ADA basically. Yes, it's Juan Carlos. Someone ratted her out. And when I was watching it last night, and if you watch my reaction video, I was like, well, I mean, it has to be Connor, because Connor had just found out in this episode that Oliver was asked by Annalise to leak this story to the press. So I yelled about that. You know, I was like, oh my God, it was Connor. Like, he's such a rat. And then as the episode went on, like, this episode was a major red herring for Connor. It was to get everyone off track and to blame Connor. But then at the end, you see that Connor was trying to revive Wes. So Connor's not the killer. And I don't think many of you think he is, but that was a major red herring, okay? So we have this issue of the leaked story to the press. We have 3 people that we know for sure know that that story was leaked, okay? So we have Connor, who Oliver told. We have Annalise, who asked for it to be leaked. And we had Oliver. Now, who do you think is the person who leaked that story to the press? It's not Connor. That's what they wanted you to think, and that was so simple. It's not Annalise because she doesn't want to get her own self in trouble. It is Oliver, all right? Now, I think that is the very subtle clue they wanted to give us before the finale to let us know that he is the killer. Now, for those of you asking, why is he the killer? Okay, yes, he has not seemed suspicious on the surface. He seemed really nice pretty much in yesterday's episode, except another thing that I caught. Near the end of the episode, when he was kind of blaming Connor as well. Everyone was pretty much blaming Connor, and he should really be the last person to blame Connor. Yes, it was suspicious behavior because he had asked that other guy to use his phone to check his voicemail. That's very suspicious. But when his own boyfriend, and I guess they're still together, is pointing the finger at him as being the killer, I mean, that's pretty low, okay? So why do I think it's Oliver? I think it's also connected to the revelation that Laurel had with the private investigator, that the Mahoneys were undergoing DNA testing to find out if Wes was related to them. So the Mahoney guy that had been in jail is pretty much Wes's half-brother, and he found out that they were in fact related. I think that Oliver is somehow related or part friends or connected to the Mahoneys, because the Mahoney's have been brought up and over and over and over and brought up in this episode. Annalise is afraid of them. She blamed them for her baby's death in this episode and let everyone know about it. So this is the motive. He is connected to that family, whether he's a part of the family, he's friends of the family or something. And this has been something going on throughout the entire show. And he wanted to get revenge on Annalise. he knew by killing Wes, that was the person who was most important to her. We know for a fact now that Wes died before the fire because Connor was trying to revive him and he did not have burns on his body, okay? So someone killed him before. I think maybe he was strangled or something along those lines. And I do think it's connected with the person, you know, blowing up the house because they wanted to get rid of the evidence and maybe burn his body so much that you couldn't tell how he died, or people would think he just died because of the fire, which that's kind of what the autopsy said, but that is not what has happened here, okay? But I hope you guys are following this. Because of this theory, I believe that Connor came into the situation. You know, he pushed his way into the situation. He wanted to work for Annalise. Connor didn't want him to. He kept begging to do it. He wanted to be in the situation because he's a plant. He was set out to do harm. And if he could let Annalise go down for Wes's murder, that would have her locked up for the rest of her life. And that would be his way to pay her back for whatever, you know, revenge thing the Mahonies wanted to take out on her. That is what I think. As far as as far as Maggie being involved, I think that, yeah, I still think she could have some involvement. I think she's shady. I think the ADA is over the top shady, so I don't really know if she's still connected or not. But that is what I'm thinking about the small clue that Oliver is finally going to be revealed after we thought, or most of us have thought, he was suspicious for such a long time. All right, so I see some people, you know, spamming comments that don't have anything to do with the show. So I'm just gonna, if you keep doing that, I'm gonna have to get you blocked out of the room. Please don't do that because we have a lot of important comments here. So I'm going to go read your guys' comments pertaining to the show. Okay, let's see. But anyway, I want to know what you guys think about that. Hang on just a second here. We don't have time for these people who are being silly in here. Okay. Alexis says, what a traumatic thing for Connor to go through trying to revive Wes. Yes. Now, we have a lot of different people playing into, hi, the Huntress, how are you? A lot of different people playing into our finale. So we're going to have someone who's revealed, I hope, someone who's revealed as the snitch, who that could still be Connor. We're going to have someone who is possibly revealed, or we have someone who set the house on fire, which I don't know if that's the same person who murdered Wes or not. And then I feel like there's three people. Now, the person who murdered Wes and the person who set the house on fire could be the same person, or maybe not. They could be working together. That's kind of what I think about that. Yes, it is a 2-hour finale next week. And because I also do Riverdale, what I think I will do is just focus on this finale since it's the finale. And I may have to watch Riverdale like the next day. There may be a little bit of a delay on that. But I want to watch the finale in real time and get that reaction up as soon as possible after it airs. Tobin's asking if I think Maggie did anything, or I think she was a red herring. I'm kind of torn on this. I found it very strange that she wasn't in last night's episode in some way. She's been in every single episode of this half of the season. So, and yes, I do expect for Oliver to have a split personality. And what I envision, Rachel, is for those of you who've watched Scream, and for those of you who don't, I won't give you any spoilers, but for those of you who do, the last person who was revealed as the killer seemed to be a very nice person throughout the entire show, actually. And this was someone who, was sinister from the beginning, but for a couple of seasons, we thought he was a nice guy, but I knew that he was probably the killer. And then we found out he was actually completely psycho. And for the reveal of the finale of Scream, the last finale I think we watched, he revealed his true self. And I think that Oliver is acting, and I don't think he's this nice, innocent person as he wants us to believe. So I'm really hoping for, I don't even think that he has a split personality really, as far as he's pretending to be this person, and maybe in public or to get jobs or whatever, he acts this Oliver way that we know. But I believe that he is really not a nice person. Ben says maybe that's why Connor is being so horrible right now, because trying to revive Wes and failing would have been so traumatic for him, and maybe he felt really guilty. And that's exactly what I believe was going on with Connor. I think he kind of feels responsible for killing Wes because he couldn't bring him back to life. I don't know. I feel like we're missing some parts of that there that we'll get in the finale. But I know he feels guilty. I'm wondering why he didn't tell people, like, hey, I tried to bring him back to life and it didn't work. There's something missing there. There's some missing pieces there that we should figure out in the finale. Firkin says it would make sense if Oliver was the killer since he's not like a real main character, so he can leave the show without ruining the show. And I actually have written down like 5 points as to why Oliver is the killer, and that is one of them. He's a disposable character. I definitely don't think after the reveal of Wes being dead that another Keating student will be the murderer, because I don't see them eliminating a second character that quickly. Remember, whoever they do reveal, if it's revealed to everyone as the killer, that person's essentially done on the show unless they want to show them in flashbacks, but their time in present day, I feel like, is over. So the person's either going to go to jail, someone will kill them, or they will kill themselves. So with Oliver, if he is the killer, I kind of feel like he will go to jail, or maybe Connor will kill him. I don't know. Very interesting. But I've been reading your comments, and I see a lot of people on my comments on my video, my reaction video. A lot of people feel differently, and some people think it's Bonnie, and some people think it's Annalise still, and there is all kinds of different, you know, suggestions, or what do you call it, theories. Vanessa's saying the actor who plays Oliver is a series regular. He's a disposable series regular, though. The show would be fine with that. We don't need him in the show. I mean, they were gutsy enough to kill off Wes, who some would say was the main character. He was the main Keating student, and we're going to make it through without him, so we can definitely lose Oliver. With Wes, we're still seeing him a lot through flashbacks, and since the show relies heavily on flashbacks, we still get to see Sam some, and I think that whatever happens to Oliver, if he ends up being the killer, we can go back and see what he was doing behind the scenes in flashback form. We can see his other side, what's been going on in scenes that we had seen before, but we didn't see him being that way. Rachel is still hoping that Wes is alive, but you know, it's unlikely. And that's another comment that I'm getting a lot, that you guys are hoping Wes is alive. And what I'll try to do is 2 different videos on this show for this weekend. One with the Wes is alive theory, and the other where I'm pretty much going to call Oliver being the killer and give you my reasons why. Rachel is asking if I think Frank is going to break out of jail. I don't think he's going to break out. I think he will be set free once the killer is revealed in this episode. Mega Era wants to know, says that maybe Maggie is not the murderer or even the one who set the fire, but she's related to the ADA. It could be that she was planning to get close to Wes, find some dirt on AK. I know, that could be really her only purpose. I'm kind of wondering if that was her purpose, that she was supposed to date Wes because she was supposed to find out information about Annalise and get close to that circle. She was very nosy and asked a lot of questions, but she may not be involved, and maybe not even the ADA is involved in the fire and the murder. Something else that we need to figure out, though, is that they had Wes's body cremated. We know they probably did that to hide the murderer's identity and to hide the true cause of death, but who would have the access to have that body cremated? And if the ADA is the one behind that, why would she want that to be done unless she is involved? Cherry says, you think someone will know who the killer is and they'll kill the one who found out? Okay, possibly. Yes, Atwood has been fired, but we don't know. We probably haven't seen the last of her. Giuliano says Laurel was out of line for calling out Annalise like that. She was dating Wes for, what, like 2 weeks? Annalise looked after him his entire life. She needs to calm down. Laurel is definitely over-emotional. I mean, in a way I can understand it because she's supposedly pregnant with Wes's baby, and of course, he died traumatically and suddenly, and nobody knows why. But I'm hoping that after, when we get to next season, like, she'll have time to find peace as a character, and she won't be hating everyone, and she'll have some time to heal a little bit. I guess it depends on who is revealed as the killer and how that affects her. A lot of people are suggesting that she killed Wes, and I don't agree with that at all. I do think that she's not pretending and that she actually really cared about him, even though it was a short time. I don't think that she's the killer. But I do think Carla is doing a great job, Rachel, with her scenes. Michael thinks someone killed Wes, and you think that's Oliver. And then Maggie set the fire not knowing that Wes was in there hoping to kill Laurel. That's something else that, hi Mary, thank you for being here. That's something else I'm trying to figure out, and that we need to figure out. Is the same, are those 2 things connected? It seems like they would be, but did the same person set the fire and do the killing? Were they working together? Or were there 2 separate events? It's hard, you know. That's really hard. Okay, so I don't know how to say your name, but I know you comment a lot. DOOL1 fan. Episode 14 is called He Made a Mistake, which is our part 1 of the finale, and episode 15 is called Wes. which we feel like we either we get the reveal of the killer or he's not dead, but I still think he's dead. Someone commented on my video today that Charlie Weber, who plays Frank, was saying that he was incredibly shocked to find out who the killer was. I still think that means, you know, it could definitely be Oliver because, again, the show has never had anyone point the finger at Oliver. None of the characters have found him to be suspicious, or they've said, you know, he's a killer or whatever. So from the characters' standpoint, I think that the characters would be very shocked to think the nice, sweet Oliver was our killer. Oh, Days of Our Lives. All right, that makes so much sense now. Days of Our Lives fan. Okay. Marge is 99% sure that Bonnie burned down the house, and she has a very good theory about that on my channel in the comments. Giuliano thinks Connor did not kill Wes, but he could have started the fire because his handprints are on Wes's body since he tried to revive him and he wanted to destroy the evidence. That's interesting. I don't like that personally. It's not that it's not a good theory, but I don't like that because I want to believe that whoever killed Wes did so intentionally, not to cover up another crime or well, I guess what you're saying is maybe somebody, I don't know, maybe you're saying someone else had killed Wes, but since he touched him, he thought he would go down for the crime, so he had to burn down the house. But that would be kind of, I don't know, possibly. It's not a bad theory. McCara says Connor could have burned the house down. This is kind of similar to what I think Giuliano just said, because he freaked out when someone dies and he could have burned it and then accidentally hurt Laurel. And then something else we want to think about is the fact that, was Laurel a target? Was she in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or was someone setting out to kill her too? I don't know. I would be disappointed, Rachel, if they said that Wes is alive. And just a heads up, if you commented several minutes ago, I missed those comments. Just comment again if I haven't gotten to yours. I'm trying to get to everybody's. But I would be really disappointed because I really dislike when shows are deceptive that way and pretend that someone dies or he has a twin or something like that. I just think that's really lazy writing and it's a cop-out. And I think that this show is way too good and way too smart to have fake deaths or someone has a twin or something like that. I definitely think Laurel is not going to have an abortion. I don't know if she could still possibly lose the baby, but she's never, you know, said anything about how she doesn't want to be a mom or she doesn't want to have this baby. So I felt like Bonnie was really out of line just because Laurel has never expressed any grief over being pregnant or saying she didn't want the baby and she needed help or anything. So I think she's going to try to go through with it unless something happens where she has a miscarriage, honestly. And I think if she has the baby, I still feel like someone else will either raise it from her family or someone will adopt it who she doesn't know. I don't feel like the baby will be a reoccurring character or like someone we see every week on this show. Anakin is saying, in all honesty, how long do you think this series can go on? I think it can go on a really long time because it's a Shonda Rhimes show, and her shows seem to go on forever. Take Grey's Anatomy, for example. I don't even know how long that show's been on, but I don't know with this show how they can still be inventive and have new storylines and everything. So that's what I don't know, but I know Shonda can figure it out. I don't think she goes into a lot of her shows thinking it's just going to be a few seasons of a show, but I don't know. Maybe you guys have read an article or heard from her, seen an interview or something. I don't know if she's ever talked about how long she wants this show to go on. The other huge question that we have that I definitely wanted to bring up as Days of Our Lives fan is mentioning is who was the person that Wes called as his emergency contact, the person who he called himself Christoph to. I still feel like that this person was a family member who we haven't met, but why did he make that phone call and why did they show it and why was that important? I don't know if they're going to try to bring in this family member as a character in our next season. I don't really know where we're going with that at all. Juan Carlos still thinks it's Eve. And then why was he calling this person? He was calling the person on the way to Annalise's house. Why? Did he feel like he was in danger? Did he know something was going to go down? I don't know. An emergency, he's making an emergency phone call, but this is good. This is really good what Rachel just said here, that he's calling a Mahoney. Now, I don't know. I don't feel like he was in contact with any of them, but you really don't know because he was doing a lot of investigating. He was trying to find his father. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the Mahonies would refer to him as Christoph, because they didn't really have a relationship with him, but that's interesting though. Rob says that Laurel was in the kitchen and went to the basement door. She hears noise upstairs and saw a person go out the cellar door. Is that person Connor? Kind of what I'm thinking. So apparently Eli's saying that Grey's Anatomy started in 2005. So who knows? We could all be here. You know, who knows what's going to happen like more than 10 years from now? Are you guys still going to be doing that? Are we all still going to be talking about this show? That's kind of funny. I don't know. I don't know. Should I say that I hope not? Maybe. Who knows? That's funny. Anakin says, what if everything was planned out about Wes's death? You feel like Wes had a feeling something bad was going to happen. Yeah, so why was he making an emergency phone call right before going to Annalise's house? Did he know something was going to go down? Had he been warned by somebody? Did somebody contact him was he coming there to meet up with somebody? Or he, and he felt like something was going to go down? I don't know. Yeah, Oliver will have us all killed in 12 years. Delonda says if the Mahoneys find out Wes's girlfriend is carrying an heir, Laurel could actually be in danger. Well, okay, so this is an heir to the Mahoney fortune. Yeah, that's interesting. Now, the thing is that Laurel, she didn't know she was pregnant when all this stuff happened, or so we are led to believe. So I don't know if someone tried to kill her because she was pregnant, because how did anybody know? Because she hadn't even told Wes. That's what we believe. But the video is still working for me. I'm not having any issues. I see one person's having a problem. But sometimes if you just refresh, if you guys can hear me, it will come back. But on my end, it's saying it's okay. So I don't know. Nikki, am I saying your name right, or is it Nixie? Okay, what do you think is the correlation between Wes being killed in the basement and Rebecca being killed there? That's a good point that I hadn't thought of. Gosh, I don't know. I mean, we know who killed Rebecca. I don't want to think that Bonnie did. I mean, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I'm really excited for this reveal, and I'm really hoping it's Oliver. The only thing that would make me very upset is if they said Wes was alive, he has a twin, something like that, faked his death. So, I mean, if they make it Bonnie or somebody else, I'm going to freak out because that's shocking to me. I know whoever they make it be, they will explain why. So they're not going to just be like, oh, it's Bonnie, and then leave it, and we don't know why. They'll give us some explanation. But of course, I would freaking fall out of my chair if it's Oliver, like, because I've waited on Oliver to be revealed as suspicious, as sinister for such a long time. So, but I like that basement comparison. I do. Anakin wants to know if I think Oliver hacked the phones or pretended to be Annalise when sending the text messages. Now that's good. That's a really good comment. Totally, maybe. I don't know if she's ever acknowledged that she sent these messages. I don't know. And, that's the other thing. If we have Oliver as the killer, maybe he contacted Wes saying he was that Mahoney kid and he said we needed to meet or something. I don't know. Or maybe he pretended to be somebody else and, sent it from someone else's phone because of hacking. And why was Wes coming to Annalise's house? Does anyone have that answer? That might be a simple answer that I'm just not remembering. Okay, I know it is Peter Novak's show, but I mean, Shonda's the overseer of it. So what I'm saying is, with it kind of being like her baby in a way, I feel like it could go on for several seasons, but Pete's amazing. I do follow him on Twitter. The Huntress says, as we know from the show, you feel like it would be someone we don't expect, but I know a lot of us think it's Oliver. But I don't think the characters think it's Oliver. That's what I'm saying. Like, they think it's Connor right now. And some people think it's Annalise. Like, Connor thinks it's Annalise. I just don't think that, I don't feel like Oliver's obvious at all. They haven't tried to make him obvious. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to surprise me to be Oliver, but in a way it will, because they've never tried to make us think that he was a killer or anything, but they have given us clues. And we know how this show works. They give you clues every time. Little clues, small things. I knew for a long time that Wes was going to be killed, and a lot of people didn't agree. And that's what happened. And I was honestly kind of angry about that, but I just always knew it was going to be him. But I'm going to be happy with the Oliver reveal. And again, if it's somebody else and it's super shocking, I'm down for that too. The only thing I'm not down for is the cop-out that Wes didn't die. It was Wes's twin, something like that. Especially if they say Wes didn't die after we've seen the burned body and he doesn't have a twin. Now that's silly. Okay, Luke says someone is definitely going to be killed at the end of the finale, and it will be a cliffhanger. Could be. Now we had a murder from the mid-season finale, so I don't know, but could be. Let's see what else we have here. Marge doesn't really know why, but not sure if you would love it if Oliver turns out to be Wes's killer. On the flip side of that, if Oliver is seriously the nice guy he portrays himself as, personally, I like this person, whether it's fake person or not. I do like Oliver. I usually think he's really nice, but I always have thought he's suspicious. But if Oliver ends up never being shady, I'm good with that too, just because I do really like him. But I hope just because for the longest time I've, felt like something was going on. Rachel says, what if they're paralleling Wes's mom killing herself and Wes killing himself? Well, never thought about that. Now, man, why would he do that? I mean, I feel like he was in a good place in his life. He was in love. But of course he was working on something that was going to take down Annalise, which never really would have worked, because if he took down Annalise, they would have taken him down, and maybe he did kill himself. I don't really like that either. If who killed Wes is Wes, I'm not good with that either. I feel like that's another type of cop-out. I don't know. Marge says, I think I read that one. Rachel says, remember, Annalise tried to help Wes's mom, and Connor tried to save Wes, and Annalise ran away, just like how Connor is running away in the promo. So if he killed himself, then he probably took pills or something, because if you saw his body, which we did, it didn't look like he had any visible, gunshot wounds or blood or stabbing. I don't know. But I hope that he didn't kill himself. I just feel like that's another, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it's never been confirmed how he died. I personally think he was strangled to death if he was murdered by someone. But this is the first that I've heard about, him killing himself. That would be shocking and hard to figure out. I guess I will include that in my video about the fact that he's alive. The flip side of that is maybe he killed himself. But the first, autopsy said that he died from smoke inhalation, asphyxiation from smoke inhalation. So you can also die from asphyxiation. That's a hard word, right? I think if he was strangled, and I feel like if he was strangled, he's going to have, not that we could have seen last night, but he would have had they would have been able to tell what's going on. But here's the thing. No one could really tell what happened to him if he had injuries around his neck or there was a struggle, because then his body was burned. And somebody paid, Frank probably paid off somebody about the autopsy, and now he's cremated. So there has to be, I don't know if he killed himself, because why would someone be trying to hide how he died so much? If he killed himself, who gives a crap, I mean, no one needs to be worrying about getting him cremated and everything if nobody did anything to kill him, right? That makes me feel better now that I've thought about that, because why are we trying to hide a body, cremate a body when the person killed themselves? And, it seems like people would want that autopsy to be done, and they realize, okay, he had all these pills in his body. Nobody killed him. And then, the worst thing is that somebody goes to jail for burning the house down, but nobody killed anybody. He killed himself. Don't think he killed himself. Anyway, so Giuliano says, you would be mad if Wes's killer was one of the Mahoneys. I would be. Actually, that reveal would make me very angry. They've hinted at that way too much, in my opinion, because although they get mentioned a lot, they don't appear on the show, right? We've seen the Mahoney guy's son. I can't even think of his name. That would make me so mad. So apparently, Rob, you've given me a lot of good information today, that Peter is saying in an interview that Wes is dead. So I don't think we're having a Marlene King issue here where this man is lying to us. I really trust him. So I believe that he's dead. I'm so glad you told me that, because I was going to be so upset. Andre says, Connor's running scene on the trailer could have different reasons. Oliver could be the snitch. Something could happen as a form of a cliffhanger. You almost think Oliver would be too obvious. Okay. Antoine says, Wes definitely didn't call the Mahoneys, because on the DNA test, his name is Wes Gibbons. Thank you. Yes. And I think they made it they wanted us to see that. That was highlighted. And Peter actually put that on his Twitter last night. Good point. So they were calling him Wes Gibbons and not Christoph. Okay, so we are cleared from him calling the Mahoneys. Thank you. Is Atwood working with Oliver? Possibly, Emilio. Makara says, wasn't Connor trying to revive Wes in the basement? Laurel said she went down there and saw someone run out, so why didn't she see his body? Did she go to the basement to see someone run out, or was she like in the front of the house and saw someone run out the back door? I don't know. I don't remember. Do I think Laurel would have seen Connor reviving Wes? That's another, I don't know. I don't know here. I mean, I'm going to be really upset if she's involved, although that would be shocking. I'm not going to be upset with the show, but like, I don't get her motivation. What's her deal? Has she been pretending to really care about Wes and the fact that she has his baby? Like, That's sick. Like, she's sick if she's involved in his death, honestly. Tobin says Connor could have killed him by accident, and that's why he snitched to get a plea deal. I don't think so, because the fact that this episode this week was just so over the top blaming Connor, and I don't think that they're going to go there with that, and then next week be like, oh yeah, that's your killer. Like, that's too easy. Rob says Oliver was supposed to be hacking the DA office, but he was seen walking to AK's house. Right. I think he was the first one on the scene, right? After all the stuff went down. So she did say she was in the basement. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Giuliano says, for everyone who thinks Wes is alive, you literally saw a doctor remove an organ out of his body. Yeah, well, apparently I just said that Rob said that Peter Nowalk said that he's alive or he's dead. So I don't even know if I'm going to make this video about him being alive now, since I didn't know that he'd said that. That's kind of, I feel like that pretty much seals the deal, honestly. So we might just kill that video. Yeah, and we didn't have Maggie in this episode, which was very bizarre. But I'm still not clearing her completely. Luke is saying Frank is not in the finale promo. I don't know what that means, honestly. We don't know 100% whose baby it is, but apparently somebody with the show said that we did know. I don't know. I didn't see that tweet or whatever, that interview, but somebody told me that they said we already know that it's for sure Wes's baby. But I don't know. To me, there's still some questions about that. Juan Carlos says, you think Michaela is the snitch? She seems so strong. She's really egocentric and selfish. Almost sure she's the snitch. Oliver is the killer, and the one that set the fire is Frank. Very interesting. Very interesting. We have a three-part mystery to figure these people out. I do think we'll see Maggie for sure. We have 2 more hours. We're going to see her in some way in the finale. I'm really into this show, and I honestly think this half of the season is better than the first half, as long as they don't let me down with the finale. But I feel better now that Peter is saying he's definitely dead. So the only way they could really ruin it for me is if the Mahoney, half-brother killed him, I did think Wes was under the sheet the entire time, but the only reason that I changed my mind on that was because the show was deceptive in the promos and said that, I don't even want to get into it. I did a whole video about it, but like basically if they show you at the end of the episode, you survived, and they mess with our minds that way. But then the show was like, well, we didn't control who did the promos. I don't know. Brittany's wondering if the dean was the snitch. I think she just made some sort of deal with the ADA that her kids would be protected. I don't know. I feel like she just had like a side deal going on because she was looking out for her kids because of her abusive ex, or I don't know if they're divorced or whatever. We're going to have to wrap this up because I have the 6 o'clock Riverdale chat. I know this is so much fun, but we can try to make this chat an hour next week, depending on what happens in the finale, if you guys want that, and I can move my Riverdale to like 6:30 or something. We'll have to see about that, but we will definitely think about that for next Friday. But this was so much fun. Thank you so much. And if you had a comment that I didn't get to, this video will be up in like 5 minutes. So just go back to my channel, leave the comment there. I reply to everyone's comments. And I hope to see you guys in my Riverdale chat, which is at 6, so pretty soon here, because that's a great show too. But I think after we have this information about Wes not being alive, I will just do my Oliver. I'm going to give you concrete reasons why Oliver is the killer, and I'll have that video up tomorrow. But I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you hopefully soon for the Riverdale chat. Bye, guys.